about. I think there have been times where people will probably be like, oh, that person's like a chode.
Yeah.
Like you might say that, but that's like more generational for us.
Jonesy and Ray, just wondering.
Welcome back to Just Wondering podcast, where we will surprise each other with whatever topics come to mind. We literally know nothing and have made a rule to never research before recording. So buckle up.
We're your hosts. I'm Jones.
And I'm Ray. And Jones, I was just wondering about phrases and sayings.
I love phrases and sayings because I love talking at all times.
I like that you usually get them wrong.
Yeah, I'm not very good at knowing simple phrases and sayings. For example, twist my arm?
Yeah, when someone's trying to convince you to do something, someone might say, oh, twist my arm.
Not, oh, pull my hair.
Yep, that was what you said. Just pull my hair.
It felt right in the moment. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew immediately that it was not correct, but I didn't know what it was supposed to be.
Well, there's the other one, that someone's like pulling your leg if they're doing a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking of because I'm always telling jokes. It's full of jokes.
I was wondering about phrases and sayings because my mom at one point told me that person looks like a fire plug.
Oh,
and I was like, what does that mean?
What is a fire plug?
You know, like a hydrant. And I was like, why didn't you say they looked like a fire hydrant then? And she said, because that's not the saying. And I said, a fire plug is also not a saying. And she's
no,
like,
it's not.
Yeah, she said it really is. She was like, it has been said hundreds of thousands of times, you look like a fire plug. And I was like, what does it mean though? And she was like, you look fat, short and fat. And I'm like, okay, first of all,
no one's ever said that to me, and I'm short and fat. So
and no one would ever go up to someone and be like, you look like a fire plug if it means you are short and fat, because that is rude.
Yeah, no one said that to me. Also, who calls it a fire plug and not a fire hydrant?
Right. And so she was like, it's been said hundreds of thousands of times. And I said, if you're the only person who said it, it doesn't make it a saying, no matter how many times you say it, Mom.
That's so true, though. Like, you can say something all you want, but it doesn't make it right.
So how does it become a saying?
I mean, I guess like nowadays things become a saying because of social media, right? Like I posted a TikTok video the other day where I said risking the Roni for a bony, and it has gone viral because people love it. Like I've been saying that since April.
Yeah, and now I wonder how many of them are saying it like it's a saying.
Yeah, but yeah, how did things become a saying 100 years ago when there was only newspapers? Like not every saying made it into the newspaper. Maybe there was a page. Sayings, phrases.
Trending. Yeah, so back to the story with my mom, I said to her, I know from personal experience that just because you've said something a lot of times doesn't make it a saying, because I grew up thinking everywhere just like Chicken Man was a saying. And
what does that mean? She
said, oh, it was like this old radio show when I was a kid that I would listen to. And you go like, everywhere, just like Chicken Man. And I was like, I've been saying it for 25 years.
Oh man, that's so funny. She probably has a lot of things that she says like that.
Yeah. Or like grandparents saying things like hokey toads.
My grandparents never said that.
They probably swore.
That's true. I've heard holy moly. One time I knew this guy and his niece once said holy shit. And her mom was like, you can't say holy shit. You have to say holy moly. So she said, holy moly shit. I think another saying that I said wrong for a very long time that you corrected me on was when I used to say, you got to eat at least a pack of dirt in your life.
You got to eat a peck of dirt before you die. Do other people say that? Because I say it.
I say it because you said it to me.
Right. And I say it because my grandmother said it.
I've been trying for a long time to get a lot of sayings to catch on. Like they don't call me Nicole Blank Jones for nothing. And around my office that has caught on very well. You just insert an adjective in the middle, or really anything. Like they don't call me Nicole Super Funny Jones for nothing. They don't call me Nicole Spills Water on Her CEO Jones for nothing. So there's a couple people who will now say it. Mostly it's just the people that listen to me say it all the time have started to say it.
I do think it does have to do with like when people say something and you do think it's funny or interesting and then you start using it. There's definitely been times when someone says something or like their mannerism is so funny that I just adopt it into my everyday speech. So something I like to say is, I can't do it, I'll pass away, not pass out. Like, people say pass out.
I think it's also funny to think of, like, there's a lot of sayings and phrases that you might say a lot and then you stop saying.
Yeah.
Depends, like, I guess what the group of people that you're around are saying. There's like some sayings, because I like still work in retail part-time with a lot of young kids, like kids who are like still in high school. Sometimes I'll go in there and they'll have sayings and I'll be like, what does that even mean? Like, I'll never forget the first time some kid was like, I'm Marvin. It's like, I thought your name was Jake. It's like, no, I'm Marvin, you know, like, I'm hungry. I was like, how does that mean hungry? It's like,
Starvin'
you know,
Marvin.
like Starvin' Marvin, I'm Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I don't think that's how things work. Like, you could just say I'm hungry. Like, that's way less effort than saying I'm Marvin.
Yeah.
The same amount of syllables.
And you don't have to explain yourself.
You can't just make up words. Like, that doesn't even remotely relate.
Yeah, and also like dictionaries and stuff are always like going out of date because there's always new words and stuff. And it's like, at what point does something go from being slang to like a dictionary level word?
Or I think it has to like, yeah, be used for like X amount of years, and then it can be like considered if there's like enough different like groups of people who submit it as like a word. I don't really know. I feel like it was something that someone told me a long time ago.
The other thing I was wondering about is like new acronyms and stuff. Like everyone knows like LOL, but no one actually really says that.
Yeah. I think it's like a lot of stuff. There's like text message lingo or like IM lingo, and that's where that would
Right.
come from.
They're describing to you what they are physically doing. If someone sends me an acronym I don't understand, I just send back the old lady emoji that has this hairstyle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's so funny because Casey and I had a conversation like this last night because I sent him something. I'm usually not on the delivering end of the unknown acronyms. I'm usually on the receiving end.
Yeah.
And I said something to him yesterday. I typed something that was like MWF. And he was like, what does that mean? I was like, oh, my face when. And he was like, is
It
that
means what?
My face when? Like, it was like
Oh.
MWF, I get ghosted and someone tries to come talk to me again. He's like, is that a saying? I was like, honestly, like, I have no idea. It felt right, but I also cannot be trusted. So I could have just made that up. So if that is a saying, please let us know because it's very unclear.
God, I just don't know anything.
There's too many. Like, there's just so many, and every day there's like a new one that comes out. There's one that I saw that like really got me for a long time, and it's IKY. Oh no, IYKYK.
Oh, you know if you know, or something like that, right?
If you know, you know, and I did not know. Yeah, it's crazy how it catches on, and like we used to all talk in acronyms on like MSN, BRB.
Yeah, at my work, anytime someone leaves the floor, they say BRB, I say BRH.
Be right here.
I'm just trying to like make it catch up. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna be right here when you come back.
You know, in Mean Girls, when they're like, stop trying to make fetch happen, it's never gonna happen. Where it's like, that's how I feel like a lot of my sayings are, like, stop trying to make it happen and it's not gonna happen. I feel like that's what you have to say to your mom. Excuse me, Bonnie, hello.
Fire plug is not gonna catch on. Enough with the fire plug.
No, I think there have been times where people will probably be like, oh, that person's like a chode.
Yeah.
Like, you might say that, but that's like more generational for us.
And I would never describe someone like that.
I wouldn't, but I've heard someone else say that and I knew what it was.
It's also funny with different Englishes, right? Because I live with someone that is from England, and so some of the things she says, I'm just like, ugh. It's almost old-fashioned in a way, right? So she would say like, oh, that person's keen to do this, but I always say that as well. Or like, I always say like, oh, I reckon, because I just think it's better than like, I think, right? Or I imagine. Yeah. Sometimes I say like, oh, I would imagine this, but when she says it, it sounds normal. When I say it, it sounds like I caught on from her now, but I was saying it before.
Yeah.
But I don't call this a jumper.
Yeah, it is interesting, like different Englishes, because I guess it's just different slang in different places and different words that are used.
I don't like when I go other places and I say my toque, and people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "So I'm like my winter hat," and they're like, "Oh, your beanie," and I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like a beanie is different. Like I always call a beanie the ones that are like floppy.
I don't think the beanie has the pom pom, but I think it's like the normal winter hat with like even
Yeah.
if it's cuffed or whatever, or
I only call it a beanie if it's like saggy hat.
you get in the habit of saying certain things and you have to like retrain yourself not to say certain things sometimes, right? I
Yes.
remember when I was growing up, I used to say that's so gay.
Yeah.
And at one point, my mom and dad were like, "What do you mean when you say that?" I'm like, "I don't know, like stupid, not cool." My parents are like, "If you use that to mean stupid, that's very rude." Right? Like,
Yeah.
like you should say what you mean. You should say like that's not cool, whatever. Like you should use the accurate description of what you're saying, because
Yeah.
that is hurtful to use a term that describes a group of people as an insult. So I'm like, wow, that's so right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely like a big thing of like changing the way that you speak once you become aware.
Educated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
really common, and I think it's really like important for people to know that, the same as saying like that's so retarded. Most of us said it like years back, but like once you're educated and once you realize what you're doing, then if you continue to say it, then you're just a shitty person. Check yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I very, very often have to check myself because I swear a lot.
Yeah.
But I also work with children. When I first started working with kids, like even back when I was a camp counselor, it was something that I had to be very, very vigilant of and very aware of. Now it comes more naturally. Like I don't ever swear in front of my like kids at work, but I swear a lot in my office, and I still have to be cautious about my swearing when I'm around adults. I've trained myself to be in the habit to swear around adults, but not swear around kids. That I haven't really like figured out what adults are like cool to swear
Yeah.
around.
It's
Yes.
also interesting that like different swears are more or less extreme, right? Say in Canada, the worst swear is cunt, but like in the UK or in Australia, it's like the most common. So
They
that's what
use
I
cunt like we
associated.
use bitch.
I'm gonna have to put an explicit warning on this episode.
Explicit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's really interesting. And I also find it really interesting that some swear words are like, yeah, worse than others. Like if you say shit, people are like, oh, like don't say that. But it's not like considered like a bad word. But if you say fuck, it's like, oh my God, no, you don't say fuck. I would love to hear some weird slang and sayings and phrases that our listeners have heard, or ones that you use that only you use, or you and your family say all the time. That would be really cool to.
Yeah, I would like all fan feedback to come from this one to be only in slang and acronyms. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing in the Merriam Webster's dictionary, please. PLZ, truly.
But yeah, I am interested to find out like how things do get like solidified into it being a saying. I think it has to be like exceptionally like funny or clever for it to go beyond its initial source.
I would assume so. And then there's obviously things that we say now all the time that we don't think is funny, but we also have to realize that those things have been now in like those slangs or those phrases have been in circulation for a long time. Ray, what are you drinking today?
Today I am drinking Karma Citra before it is no longer a thing for the season. What are you drinking?
Today I am drinking Coors Light because that is all that I had in the fridge.
Your nails match it.
Da, da, da. My nails that I
Well
painted
done.
myself.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, so let us know your favorite phrases and slang words. Anything super weird that you've heard or that your family says. We'd love to hear it. Yeah, how it becomes a saying. Let us know your feedback. You can email us at justwonderingpodcast.ray@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at just.wondering.podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
So buckle up.
Oh my God, sorry. We're your hosts.
Do you want me to do it from the top?
Up to you.